heard a great deal about the enormous pressures Miss LaCalci was under. Her worries for her father's reputation and career, her love for Detective Kelly. But ladies and gentlemen, no one made Janice LaCalci get into Angelo Marino's car. She had a choice. As a police officer, she knew she could have Marino arrested. She chose not to do that. Instead, she became judge, jury, and executioner all in one. Whether Janice LaCalci subsequently came forward out of genuine remorse or because her crime had been discovered by her lover and was about to be exposed, she is not relieved of her responsibility for what she did that night. Even in our age of pass-the-blame psychologizing, feeling like you're in a tight spot does not qualify as extreme emotional disturbance, as defined by the law. When Janice LaCalci fired those 5 hollow point shells, she knew exactly what she was doing. She was getting out from under. The law describes such an act as murder with forethought, and it prescribes a price. It is your duty now to exact it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 17 months ago, Janice LaCalci began a desperate attempt to save her father's career and reputation, and set in motion a series of events which culminated in a terrible act for which she's now on trial. Per the orders of Angelo Marino, who was threatening to expose her father for having once been on the mob payroll, Janice LaCalci transferred precincts. Per Marino's orders, she surveilled Detective John Kelly, seduced him, and won his trust. Then, as so often happens in this sort of human tragedy, fate played a cruel trick. Janice LaCalci and John Kelly fell in love. Then, she was ordered to kill him. For all her desire to protect her father, Janice LaCalci could never commit such a repugnant act. Day after day went by, and still she failed to carry out Marino's order. After 6 days, she was summoned by Marino to a meeting in an underground garage. She knew the meaning of the summons. She knew that by failing to act, she had put her own life at risk as well. As Janice LaCalci entered Angelo Marino's car, she was like someone who has gone off a cliff. At that instant, in fear for her life as Marino confronted her, Janice LaCalci's instincts took over. In a single, explosive, and unthinking moment, she reacted. The woman you are to judge could not be more different from those who hide behind the shield of victimization in order to deny the most egregious acts. Janice LaCalci is taking responsibility for her actions. Janice LaCalci is willing to pay her debt to society. All she asks is that you take into account the obvious and undeniable presence of what the state penal code calls extreme emotional disturbance. If you believe that a woman threatened with her father's destruction, the murder of her lover, and her own likely death could possibly be subject to extreme emotional disturbance, then I ask you to do as the law requires. I ask you to return the lesser verdict of manslaughter.